Did you ever know that food could actually cause you to act like somebody that might be labeled ADHD? Well, a lot of kids or adults that are either suspected to be ADHD or have been labeled ADHD are actually hypoglycemic. Now, what does that mean? Your brain needs three things. It needs oxygen, it needs stimulation, and it needs glucose. Glucose is your fuel, and that comes from the foods that we eat. Now, in the beginning of life, this is where our little newborns are really affected by the Moro reflex. Now, even though I said the word affected, it's still a very normal part of development. The Moro reflex will actually fire about every 2.5 to 3 hours, and that is what creates a rhythmic sleep-wake cycle. And when the glucose is used up in the brain, and that's the fastest place that it's used up, then that baby's actually going to startle and wake up. So you've been counting on this mechanism your entire life. So what we eat truly does play a huge part in how you are going to feel, how much energy you're going to have, and how you're going to be able to concentrate. Because your food is going to feed back into your nervous system, and you're going to be counting on it for either concentration or physical activity or just your mood, just to be able to feel good each and every day. So when a person is hypoglycemic, they have a tendency to really crave carbohydrates. And lots of times what I've noticed with kids, especially that come in this office, when they get an opportunity to eat, they're ravenous. They want to eat all the time. They never appear satisfied. So that child has a constant need to put those calories inside of their body. Now, when you overload the system, you change what's going to happen to those carbohydrates, and we're now got to produce more insulin to regulate our blood sugar. So now we're going to get this imbalance between the glucose and the insulin, and the next thing that you see is that child is running around, and the next thing you know, somebody's saying, that child's really hyperactive. And what's really going on is that child's got to use up what has been put into the system as fast as possible. So it's really important to understand how food affects us. And the only way that we can really know what's going on inside of us is we have to do functional labs. There's a difference between traditional labs and functional labs. Traditional labs are the ones that you may go in and see your medical provider because your insurance card allows you to go see this particular individual. You will go in and you will give a certain amount of complaints. You will hope that they're going to investigate and take a look. If they are going to do a lab, those labs have been changed every single year. Someone is evaluating that within normal limits, and they are being changed based on the number of people that are taking the lab and what the averages are. Well, that's not the function of the human body. There are functional levels that our body really needs to perform. So if you come to somebody like me, we do functional labs. And I want to dispel the idea that insurance doesn't cover these kinds of things. Everything depends on the policy that you have purchased. If your policy accepts certain codes, then yes, you will get coverage. So the first thing that we like to do is help bring down the stress. So we will provide the codes that we use in this office. You check with your insurance carrier, and then you will know if those services are actually covered or not. And now you can make an educated decision for yourself. But what we do is functional labs. I'm part of a wonderful group called the Institute of Functional Medicine. And this is a group of medical doctors who embrace all kinds of practitioners, chiropractors like myself, and really get back to the biochemistry of the body. So we're going to look at the functional levels of glucose. We're going to look at the functional levels of vitamins and minerals in your body, and also check out what foods are causing your body to have a high inflammatory response. So a lot of these areas happens to be what's going on for that little kid who is eating the wrong things, not getting the right sources into their body, and their body is actually craving for more. So they have to eat all the time, and then they're right back in that cycle. There's too much glucose, we have to raise up the insulin, and now that child is just running out of control. A little bit of knowledge goes a long way.